The House Budget Committee voted on Monday to advance Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus bill along party lines. The stimulus plan is now on course to get a floor vote on either Friday or Saturday of this week. However, as Democratic leaders are preparing for its first votes on the $1.9 trillion stimulus pandemic relief bill, the question of the day is whether any Democrats will cast a vote that would tank President Joe Biden's lead-off initiative. So here's where we stand, guys. Democrats have a very thin 10-vote House majority, which leaves little room for any defections in the face of solid Republican opposition. They have none in a 50-50 divided Senate that they control only with Vice President Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote. So the internal Democratic disputes remain over issues such as raising the minimum wage, how much aid to funnel to struggling state and local governments, and whether to extend emergency unemployment benefits. By the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We cover all things finance and real estate related, and if you're enjoying the video so far, do me a favor and tap the like button. It really helps to support and grow the channel. Alright, Joe, so the issue that's provoked the deepest divisions is the push to boost the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour over the next 5 years. Now, the current minimum wage is at $7.25 and has been there since 2009. Some moderate Democrats, such as Joe Manchin, have issues with the minimum wage being included in the stimulus package, as well as the $15 amount. Some are arguing for a minimum wage of around $11 to $12 per hour. Comment below, Joe, what are your thoughts about raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour? Do you support this initiative? Why or why not? Biden just announced some changes to assist with Americans getting health insurance. He wants federal subsidies to help people buy private health insurance plans and to make those subsidies available to more people. So Biden wants to offer new incentives to entice the 12 states that have not yet expanded Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act to do so. Additionally, Biden stated that he wants the federal government to temporarily pick up health insurance costs for those who have lost their jobs and their employer-sponsored coverage during the pandemic. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, expanding Medicaid, the more generous subsidies, and the other changes related to private insurance could increase the number of Americans enrolled in health insurance by at least 5.3 million. I have to say, guys, I definitely think, given the spread of the virus pandemic across our country, the more we can do to increase access to health care for everyone is a positive thing. Now, Democrats are pursuing other measures in the stimulus pandemic relief package as well, including extending the time new mothers on Medicaid and receive benefits after giving birth, and enrolling soon-to-be-released incarcerated people in Medicaid automatically. The package of health measures is in line with Biden's campaign pledge not to replace the Affordable Care Act, which is arguably the signature piece of legislation signed by President Barack Obama. Instead of replacing it, Biden wants to extend the Affordable Care Act's reach. So the subsidies, also known as premium tax credits, included in the ACA, are designed to help low and middle income Americans purchase health insurance plans on the Health Insurance Exchange, which was created by the law. Now, under the current law as it states, there are no subsidies for people whose incomes fall below 100% of the federal poverty line or whose incomes exceed 400% of the poverty line. So under the new proposed changes, no one making less than 150% of the poverty line would have to contribute anything for a health insurance spot on the exchange. In addition, people making less than 100% of poverty or more than 400% of poverty could receive the subsidy. And low and middle income people who are already eligible for help will be able to get more subsidies. Now, the subsidy changes would be in effect for 2 years, although advocates hope they would eventually become permanent. Now, those in favor of these healthcare changes describe the policy as a safety net for everyone. One advocate stated that Biden's policy says that no matter who you are or where you live, if you haven't got employer health insurance, you shouldn't have to pay more than 8.5% of your income for a good plan. Also, Joe, in relation to healthcare and Medicaid, the Biden administration last week announced it was rescinding permissions the Trump administration had given states to require Medicaid enrollees to work in order to receive benefits. So the Trump administration cleared 13 states to impose work requirements, but courts have halted them so far, and we now know that there's a case involving work requirements before the U.S. Supreme Court that's pending. Alright guys, so in terms of Medicaid, it is jointly financed by the states and the federal government, with the federal government chipping in between 50 to nearly 78% for traditional Medicaid programs. The federal government pays 90% of the cost for Medicaid expansion, populations in the states that have taken up the option. The House bill proposes to offer each non-expansion state a 5 percentage point boost in the traditional program, matching rates for 2 years if they agree to join the Medicaid expansion program. So here's an example how this would work. Federal government now accounts for 66.1% of the Medicaid spending for the state of Tennessee. Under the bill's proposal, the federal share would climb to 71.1% for 2 years. That amounts to nearly $1.7 billion over 2 years in federal Medicaid funding for Tennessee. So as of yesterday, Democrats are continuing to to press ahead with their plans to enact the plan without Republican support. Democrats are using a process called budget reconciliation that allows them to pass a budgetary bill with only 51 votes in the Senate instead of the usual 60. This 591-page bill includes $1,400 stimulus checks, $400 a week federal unemployment benefits, as well as an extension of those benefits to later this year, and significant funding to reopen schools, assistance for small businesses, as well as funding for vaccines and testing. Now, on top of all that I just mentioned, there's also funding for states, and as we discussed earlier in the video, a gradual minimum wage increase to $15 per hour. Now, the truth is, guys, is that this legislation still faces several hurdles in the Senate. The Senate parliamentarian who reviews policies to determine if they qualify under the budget reconciliation process may toss out the provision for a minimum wage increase, which would really complicate the timeline that Democrats are pursuing to get this passed. Now, President Biden, in defense of his plan, stated last week, "What would you have me cut out?" Now, he did say that he's open to negotiation, but that he wants to make the bill better, not weaker. So, Joe, this is where we stand in the world of stimulus. The House is scheduled to take the vote on the legislation at the end of this week, and then it will move over to the U.S. Senate for review and debate. Now, as far as the time frame, they are hoping to have a bill approved and ready for signing by President Biden in the next 2 to 3 weeks, which means we could see another round of stimulus checks by the end of March, early April. If you found value in the video, do me a favor and tap that like button to share with others on social media. It really helps to support and grow the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell as I'm posting valuable new content every week. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.